Yes, Seamus, it is. Once more into the breach, dear Bond. Or Connery.
We have reached the 5th Bond, haven't we?
Yes, we have. And once more was the last time, he was said. And his 5th movie and the last time he was ever going to play Bond. The last time he was ever going to say, my name is Bond, James Bond, shaken not stirred. Anyway, but he did return after OHMSS, which is the short for On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
And they gave him a rise, didn't they?
They did. They gave him 1 million, which he promptly gave to the a school in Scotland.
Did he?
Yes, he donated it.
Good.
Diamonds Are Forever. And he was also given a deal to make 2 other movies. One of them which was oh God, it's gone over my head right now. We'll think of it in a minute. And I came back again for Diamonds Are Forever, and we'll talk about that in 2 weeks' time. And never say never again. But we shouldn't mention that one.
The movie you
yes.
only live twice.
You only live twice, and you do. And I went to watch it last night. I did watch it, the whole movie again.
Enjoy it?
Yes.
Good.
It's a little long, a little protracted in places, but Connery is excellent as usual. And there's some very, very good set pieces in the fight scenes, especially the one with the big sumo wrestler inside in the headquarters of one of the villains.
They didn't move location around too much. It was mostly in Tokyo, wasn't it?
No, it stayed totally in Japan.
Which is unusual for a
Bond movie. And this movie took 111 million at the box office, and it cost 10 million roughly.
Making a fortune, wasn't it?
Yeah, this was in 60. Now, because we did say a little while ago that the Roger Moore one only made 20 million, but that was late in 1974. Wait until next week until we have 75's returns, and I bet you
it'll be up again.
It'll be up, yeah. So we just want to do it.
Sunray, they were great money.
And this is the first time you see Ernst Stavro.
They turned over great money.
Oh, they did. They were great. Oh, money makers. I mean, they started out with making 1 million and it making 10, and now it's costing 10 and they're making 111. You know, in 1967, that's an awful lot of money. You see Ernst Stavro Blofeld, and he's played by one of my favourite actors.
Donald Pleasance, is it?
Donald Pleasance, yes. Donald Pleasance, I think you're going to do. Poor old Donald Pleasance. And there's another interesting thing in it. Charles Gray plays one of Harrington's, what's his name at all in it? He's one of Connery's, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for?
Sidekicks?
Yes, that's not the word, we're awful. Agent.
Agent.
Yeah, and he's killed. But in 2 years later, when Connery came back as Bond, Charles Gray comes back as Blofeld.
Mm. Oh, yeah. So you can make a resurrection
and
again.
It uses a lot of
Tony, when
gimmicks.
the producers, when they went to Tokyo, they had a near escape. They were about to come fly back. Yes. After being there a couple of weeks, and they cancelled the flight because they wanted to watch something in Tokyo, and that particular flight came down.
Actually, a sumo wrestling match or something they wanted to watch.
That's right.
And they saved all their lives.
They saved all their lives because they missed the flight.
Yeah,
now,
that's crazy.
It could have been the flight that it could have worked the other way around.
This was the director, I think, and the producers and
Bocelli and Salzman, the two, and all the guys with them. Wiped out Bond movies.
Yes.
Life is funny, isn't it?
Akiko Wakabashi as Aki. Now, why did it call her? She wants to be called Suki, but she didn't like the Suki, so she called herself Aki. She don't mind if you call me Aki. Suki Aki. It's crazy, isn't it? Doesn't play, as I said, is Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Tetsuro Tamba.
No, Tony,
as Tiger Tanaka. He's quite good. Yeah. I think he was a famous Japanese actor.
Yeah, the screenplay.
Bernard Lee is great.
The screenplay was written by Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl, yeah, who was a very good friend of Ian Fleming's, but he dismissed Fleming's. Yes, because I think Dahl said that the actual plot for You Only Live Twice was more like a travelogue. There wasn't much of a story in it.
That's right. He made out that anyway. That was giving his own screenplay maybe a bit more than.
Well, I don't know. I think they discarded most of Ian Fleming's stories from maybe Thunderball onwards.
Yeah.
And didn't use only the titles.
And they
now they don't
they
even
kept
use
the
them
bond,
anymore.
the girls, and the action, didn't they? They
Yeah.
got three things,
Well,
and,
they
and the
had
story
they had the
intertwined around that.
storyline. You know, you had to have a couple of women in there for Bond to fool around with, and one of them would always be a killer, and then he had to have the girl that he'd save, or she'd save him, and you know.
He always seduced her before she got killed.
Yes, of course, yeah. Well, that happens in. Yeah, he did a great job of seducing. He was seducing all around him.
Well, when we were youngsters going and watching him in the 60s, we envied him.
We did. Oh God, did we? And they used that Toyota 2000 GT, which was now considered the 7th best Bond car in the movie. And you know what? That car, I'd say, you could pick up a little handier than you could pick up one of the DB5s or DB6s or whichever.
Donald Pleasant he tried different ways of being
a blowfield.
He wanted to have a hump. He wanted a hump.
Yeah.
A lame hand. But he did this eye scar on the eye, was it?
Yeah.
It hurt him during the occasion, didn't it? It was a lot of glue or something to put this thing
and of course, Austin Powers, Mike Myers parried him to death in the Austin Powers movie. He was ripe. This movie, as someone said, is ripe for parodying because the parody, you know, it's over the top. It's definitely OTT, and the sets are fantastic, especially the one in the volcano.
Yeah.
You know, I think Ken Adam did it again. You have to say that the sets were fantastic and the action sequences are very well done. But you could see why Connery was getting bored with the whole thing. It was a formula and it was the same thing and he was tired. And you know what? It was time for him to go. I said, but that sounds awful now, but he couldn't go on doing Bond forever, you know?
No.
And he went on to make The Hill along the same time, which was
a powerful movie.
And The Offence, that's the movie I was trying to remember. The Offence, where he plays a police officer who's after killing.
He made very good movies between the Bonds.
Or not a witness,
I think Connery wanted to get away. He wanted to get away from being typecast.
Yeah, and he was
a
fine actor. He should have got an Oscar for The Hill, or even for The Offence. But The Offence was not a wasn't a commercial success. May have been a critical success, but it certainly wasn't a commercial success. It was a commercial flop, and he never made the second movie that he was. He made another called Ransom, not anything like the Glenn Ford movie, but Ransom was set. He's in. It's about a hijacking in. Is it Reykjavik? Norway. He's very good in it. I like Connery. Connery is a great actor.
John Barry got great credit for some of the music within in the movie. The soundtrack itself.
The soundtrack is
was probably one of the best of the Bond movies.
Definitely. It heightens the tension.
The song "You Only Live Twice" was eventually sung by Nancy Sinatra, but there was two different recordings. She brought out one as a double A side with Jackson. Now that'll tell you how that they didn't have great confidence in the Bond songs getting into the charts. So she brought out double A side, which is not the one to buy. The one that's the proper soundtrack, which we're going to play, is about a minute shorter, and it has that lovely opening sequence to it.
Stolen 1,000 times.
But we're going to play that. But
would you agree that it's probably one of the best?
I think it's one of the best
songs.
And she wasn't confident at all in the recording studio. She walked out at one stage, and she just didn't like her voice. She sounded
like Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, she didn't like anything about it. But she did a great job.
I love it. I think it's just fantastic.
Now, it crept into the British charts
and
around 19.
I'm going to stay quiet while it goes on.
Yeah, it crept into the British charts around 19. Barely. They've never been very successful.
No.
And as far as America is concerned, they ignored it. America never took the Bond.
Let's not talk about America and any kind of talent.
Let's go with Nancy then.
Yeah, let's let him be quiet while it goes on. It's just a beautiful piece of music. Anyone who doesn't like that, I would have run out and bought that. But I wasn't into buying music then, you know.
But she brought out a double A side and stuck Jackson at the other side of it, which meant that they weren't that confident. A Bond song. No, Jackson was the name of the song.
Oh, Jackson. Oh, yeah, we're going to Jackson.
We're going to Jackson.
Oh, right.
Lee Hazelwood. As a double A side. I mean, the Bond song should always be good enough to be pushed out
Well, that
carry
one,
it,
because it's probably one of the best. It's probably one of the best songs
Yeah.